Also brought in the great, the Dusty Rhodes Classic Tournament, which featured a lot of teams from all over the world, as well as NXT and WWE. It was one of those things that I enjoyed watching. It was an amazing, amazing tournament, and ended with, Finn Balor and Joe taking the gold. It was a great tribute to Dusty Rhodes because he believed in the new generation, and he believed that these guys are the future and that the future is now. So thank you so much, Dusty, and we miss you. Another thing that happened with the WWE that was a major positive was indeed the Divas. They really got a lot more recognition, especially in the summertime when they had NXT TakeOver Brooklyn, as well as NXT TakeOver Respect, as well as bringing up Sasha Banks, Becky Lynch, and Charlotte to the main roster, because regardless of them not doing too much, except for Charlotte, who won the Divas title, they have indeed created an impact in the women's division in the main roster. And got to give Nikki Bella credits for even facing, so many of the same people over and over again. She still held her own, and she still be recognized as the longest reigning women's champion in the I'm just going to say of this era, because honestly, people could say, oh, she's the longest reigning Divas champion of all time. You have to remember that the Divas title is a combination between the Divas and the Women's Championship. And that, you combine the history of the Women's Championship, I'm sorry, Nikki, but you don't hold a candle to a lot of the people that have held the title for so long. I mean, Trish held it on for a year, as well as Fabulous Moolah holding on for it for like 7 years, I think it was, something like that. It was just, it's really hard to, compete with some of the people that were back in the, either the Attitude Era or the Ruthless Aggression Era. So many greats that have come and gone. But that being said, another thing that they've done a lot more with the United States Championships, and it's all thanks really to John Cena. I give him his props on this, because he's the one who's really made the title that much more better, I should say. And the U.S. Open Challenge got to see so many different superstars on their A games. We got to see Dean Ambrose, we got to see Stardust, we got to see Zack Ryder, we got to see people like Cesaro take everything, and it just was an amazing deal that John Cena did. I wish they would have done more with the U.S. Open, like have him compete maybe in triple threat matches or fatal four-way matches where it made more sense, but it is what it is. So I'm honestly hoping that, with Kalisto being the U.S. champion, that there's going to be a lot more memorable matches, as well as more of a lineage that will be added on because of Kalisto. The Intercontinental title was not exactly as, it wasn't exactly as celebrated as what it could have been, but you cannot deny that the first time ever you got to see the Intercontinental title defended at the Elimination Chamber in that matchup was a cool concept. The matchup in itself, it was kind of okay, but the IC title is still prestigious to me, and it's still one of those things that I look at and think, you know what, anybody who holds that title is going to be a future world champion someday, and honestly, a lot of people can't deny that. I mean, people who have held it, like The Miz, like Dolph Ziggler, like Dean Ambrose, like Kevin Owens, those are guys that are going to hold that title and be a main event person, definitely. And finally, the world title. We got to see so many great things from Lesnar in the first couple months, but mainly it was Seth Rollins who really hit it home and made that title so much more prestigious. And he didn't face off against the same people over and over again, well, except for the back-to-back matches between Dean and him. But come on, that rivalry was rivalry of the year, hands down. The thing about Seth Rollins' reign that was so much more different was that he was always getting challenged to do something better. Whether it be in a cage match with Randy Orton, whether it be the Fatal 4-Way match with Orton, Dean, and Reigns, whether it be the Champions versus Champions winner-take-all match between him and Cena, his matchup with Sting, his matchup with Kane. So many great moments from Seth Rollins, and regardless of the fact that he got injured and so many people are feeling sympathy for him, for me, he was still a hard worker. And I think it was around the Night of Champions match where I realized that this guy is really going to be something special, and he's going to just, again, take the WWE to that next level. It was unfortunate to see him get injured the way he did, but I am looking forward to bigger and better things when it comes to Seth Rollins coming back in this year. So I'm looking forward to seeing what happens with this year. Already we got, a new champion with the Royal Rumble. WrestleMania is going to be very interesting to say the least. I would have more time to talk, but unfortunately I gotta go because next weekend will be Treasure Island. I will get more into that on the next episode of Let's Talk on Wednesday. So be sure to tune into that, guys. And that is going to wrap it up for Pro Talk Wrestling. Thank you so much for your time. Be sure to check out my Twitter page at Pro Talk Wrestling, as well as the Facebook page that I have for Pro Talk Wrestling. I will also have some of the championship belts that I've gotten from AJ's Belts, so that way you guys know what you're kind of looking forward to and what you're expecting. So check that out a little bit later on in the day. I will also be talking a little bit more about Fastlane, as well as so many other things for next week. So much to talk about. Thanks again for listening, and have a great day. I will see you next week.